Tired of your old kitchen or bathroom? Upgrade to the home of your dreams with Manny and Courtney from CMK Construction. CMK Construction is Tampa's award-winning kitchen and bath leader for over 20 years. Right now, save $3,000 on a new kitchen and $2,000 on a new bathroom. And take advantage of our no money down and no interest financing until 2026. Imagine, design, build.
Streaming from the Tampa Bay 28 Weather Center in Studio A. This is Dennis Phillips Live. Brought to you by CMK Construction, crafting Tampa's most exquisite bathrooms and kitchens.
Hey, doing everybody? It is a Monday night edition of Dennis Phillips Live. So this is kind of a watch party, kind of a DPL. We're talking tropics. We're watching the Bucks game. The Bucks are down 7-0, and honestly, they're lucky to be down 7-0. The Lions were driving, and on a ball that Jared Goff was about to release, he took a hit, fumbled just before the release, and the Bucks recovered. Otherwise, it'd be at least 10-0 probably, and maybe 14-0. But yeah, so far it is all Lions, but it's early, still in the first quarter. And we have got lots and lots of stuff to talk about. Let's do some hellos first. If you're watching on the spot, thank you as always. You could be watching on Frontier, Spectrum, OTA, the antenna thing, the old school stuff. And as I'm glancing over here because the TV's on here. So feel free to update on the game as well on the chat. Anna Maria, nice to see you. Ryan, good to see you. Parrish is in the house with Lauren. Melbourne with Justin. Riverview. You know what? It's fun because so I went to a local town, Dunedin Carnival, on Saturday. And it was really cool because, you often get people to come up and say hello. But more often than not, a lot of the people coming up, hey, watch you on DPL, which is kind of a new thing. I mean, we've been doing this for a long time, but the fact that we're now on broadcast, it's far more visible. And a lot of people are watching. So thank you for that. It was a good time. Boy, was it crowded, though. We have, now the K-pop lover just said this is going to hit Florida, period. If you're talking about the tropical system, you're wrong. Yeah, that ain't going to happen. But so what's going on? It looks like the Lions, are they punting? It's hard for me to tell because no, not yet. Nope, I take that back. So anyway, Nokomis is in the house with Thomas. Jason, good to see you. So here's what we're going to cover tonight, all right? A lot of folks, we've got two major things popping in terms of our weather. But first of all, how was your weekend? Did you have a good weekend? I mean, being a Penn State grad, another loss for Penn State and Indy Lions. UF, Billy Napier got fired. FSU lost to Stanford. Miami lost. Boy, it was not a good weekend for Florida football teams except the USF Bulls with another big victory. Paul LeGrone earlier in the year was talking about, you know what? The Bulls might have a window of opportunity to make the playoffs. And I'm like, nah, I don't see how that's going to happen, because they got hammered by Miami. But boy, they have looked awfully good since then. And now with Miami losing this week, I mean, you never know, right? You never know. So that's going to be interesting how it plays out. And by the way, the Bucks, looks like they just sacked Jared Goff. It's hard for me because I'm looking here and then looking over here as well. But anyway, so we got two big weather features to talk about. One, obviously behind me, we've got what likely will become Melissa. Going to talk a lot about that for folks in Puerto Rico, folks in the Dominican. So many people have been messaging me, Dennis, we're going to Punta Cana for a bachelor party. Dennis, we're going to Punta Cana for a girls' weekend. Dennis, we're going to Punta Cana because we got to get away. I'm getting all these messages. And I'm not going to ever tell anybody, oh, you know, you should not go on a vacation, because if the forecast is wrong or it hits someplace else worse and it costs you money, that's something I can't do. But I will tell you, the closer we now get to this event, the more likely it is that there's going to, at the least, be some significant rain and some significant flooding for the islands, for Puerto Rico, especially for the Dominican, maybe Eastern Cuba. Mike Bright, who is Cruise Mike, if you know, you know, $2.39 for the gas prices. Yeah, go figure, right? I'm driving into work, and I see $2.63 for gas in like 6 different places. And I got excited because I had to fill up my car. I'm like, this is awesome, right? I'm saving money, and you know, a year ago, 18 months ago, maybe I would throw that out there, nobody'd say anything. But inevitably, and you know where I'm going with this, and it doesn't enter my mind because I am not a political guy. You guys know me, I ban people when they start talking politics on this, so they start doing spamming. So it never enters my mind that if you throw any kind of a price tag out there for gas or anything else, it's going to turn political. Lions are driving again, and incomplete pass in the end zone. Lions are on like the 18-yard line of the Bucs. So yeah, it is all Lions early on. We will see if Baker can bring them back. But yeah, it is. You're right, Zach. It is not zero. Chances are not zero that storm will impact Florida, but it is very low. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. All right. See if we have any new numbers yet from the NHC. We do. So the NHC update just came out. It is 90% likelihood development over the next 48 hours and 90% likelihood that it develops in the next 7 days. So let's just go ahead and read this. Here are the latest numbers, okay? Here's the latest update. So, large area of showers and thunderstorms persists over the eastern Caribbean to the east of a tropical wave. The system still appears to lack a closed circulation, but environmental conditions are soon forecast to be more conducive for development. So the Bucs got the ball back. So it must have been a turnover. I did not see it, but unless they went for it on 4th down, I did not notice. But that's 2 times that the Lions have been deep in Bucs territory and did not come away with points. So that's a plus. A tropical depression or tropical storm is expected to form within the next day or 2 while the system slows to its forward motion over the central Caribbean. And here's the important part. Regardless of development, heavy rainfall and gusty winds are possible over portions of the ABC Islands during the next couple of days. Interests in Puerto Rico, Hispaniola, Jamaica, and Cuba should monitor the progress of this disturbance, as there is a risk of heavy rain and flooding, strong winds, and rough surf. All right? So right there, that is the latest advisory from the Hurricane Center. All right? When we come back, we'll show you the new model updates. We'll show you the ensembles. We're now within a week, so we will dive in for the operational runs, and we will address the potential for a strong cold front and much cooler air for our area going into Halloween. And that is a rarity. Because how many of y'all have been out there taking your kids out trick-or-treating drenched in sweat because it is so stinking hot and humid? This year, we may luck out, and it may be different. And we'll talk more about that in 90 seconds as DPL continues. Okay, so we are in a break. Thank you very much, Charlotte. Oh, Lions missed it on 4th down. All right, Terry, thank you. Yeah, I figured. I didn't see a turnover. And I'll tell you, the Lions coach is well known for going on 4th downs. So it happens often. So far, it's been all Lions, and yet it's only a 1-touchdown game. So that is certainly good news for the Bucs. Yep, Andorra got the hoodie. This is the FSU hoodie. I have a Bucs hoodie somewhere. I don't know what I did with it. I think I might have left it at home. By the way, and again, I don't know if we can do this or not, but you have no idea how many people have been messaging me saying we should organize a DPL Alaska cruise. God, probably 150 people, right? And and I've never been on an Alaska cruise. I never have. The family wants to go. I've never been on one, but I cannot tell you how. And that's a long trip. It's like a 6-hour flight just to get there, and then you out of Vancouver or out of Seattle, and then you take the Alaska cruise. Again, I don't know if I can do it or not. I mean, I'm really not sure, but a lot of people have asked. A lot of people. All right, we are back in 10 seconds. Yeah, Joel, it was not a good weekend for Florida football, except for USF. All right, we are back. Welcome back to Dennis Phillips Live on the spot, 66.1. Let's go ahead and jump in. We're going to just jump in right now since we do have quite a few things to talk about. And we were talking in the break, there was a lot of people asking about a DPL cruise to Alaska. It's true. I've gotten so many messages about it because they're like, well, we've done the Caribbean thing, but what about Alaska? How much fun would that be? It would be. All right, here we go. So here's a look at the GFS. Now, we are within a 5 to 7 day window. So in my mind, it's perfectly acceptable to, to start showing operational runs. All right? So here we go. Tomorrow morning, 8 a.m., tomorrow, 8 p.m. Look down here. There is your depression, wave, whatever it is. All right, there's Wednesday. Wednesday, it starts to, now, first of all, this is a very small system, it looks like, in terms of the intensity. So that's why I'm not so sure that we are looking at potential anyway for a large, widespread area of coverage. Here's Wednesday night. All right, here's Thursday. Thursday night. And that goes pretty much right over the Dominican. It's Thursday night, 12Z run, brings it right over the Dominican. There's Friday morning, not particularly strong. That might be a tropical storm. And a lot of rain. A lot of rain from Puerto Rico. Thursday, Friday, the Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico, the Dominican will be looking at heavy rain and potential mudslides. Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And then by Sunday, it starts to pull away and it's gone. Okay, so that's the GFS. So again, time frame. Thursday, Thursday night, Friday, Friday night, Saturday, Saturday night, Sunday, gone. Let's look at the Euro. Okay, the Euro. Tuesday, again, look at the same area. Wednesday, Thursday. The Euro has been going farther west and weaker. So let's see what it does now. 8 a.m. on Thursday. It is a little stronger, actually, 996. 8 p.m., still moving more west, south of the islands. See that? The Euro continues with a weaker system more south of the islands, closer to Jamaica. Friday morning, 8 o'clock. Boy, it's just a very ragged system. Tropical depression, maybe a weak tropical storm. But that is bringing a ton of rain. Even if you don't get a lot of development, you're looking at very heavy rain from the Dominican, Haiti, and Puerto Rico. So even without a lot of development, that's Friday night, okay? There is Saturday morning, a little bit stronger now, still hanging out there in the Central Caribbean. Saturday morning, Saturday afternoon, so it pretty much stalls. There's Friday morning at 8 o'clock. There's Saturday morning at 8 p.m. It has not moved. So the Euro keeps this stalled and getting stronger as it stalls through Sunday morning. Still, Sunday morning, 986 millibars. Still, holy cow. So look at what the Euro does. Just south of Jamaica, and it's now intensifying rapidly to 969 millibars. It's probably a Cat 2 hurricane. But it, at that point, still keeps it away from the islands, okay? This is Tuesday, next Tuesday. So look at this. We're going to go from Thursday, here's this Thursday, to next Tuesday, and it does not move. So that is going to be a ton of rain for the islands, okay? That's the Euro, and that's a 952 millibar Cat 3 hurricane right there. And then it lifts north toward Jamaica and eastern Cuba and into the eastern Bahamas. So there, my friends, is the difference, and that is a massive difference. Bucks had to punt. Detroit's got the ball. Looks like it's early second quarter, still 7-0. So the offensive shootout that I was expecting has not happened yet. So there it is. So literally in 6 days, the storm goes from here to there. And then it lifts out to sea. So that's why we still do not have any kind of resolution on the forecast. But here is my suggestion. Look, I'm not going. You guys know I'm not going to answer, should I cancel trips? I can't do that. I just can't, for so many reasons. You know what? Let's call up the spaghetti models real quick, and then we're going to take a break. I'm going to call up the spaghetti models, and I haven't done that yet. So here, let's go into the ensembles. Here's the GFS ensembles, but I'm going to call up the spaghetti models. All right, here's the spaghetti models. The majority of the spaghetti models are not following the Euro's track. The majority of them are doing more of the GFS, which is from the Dominican and Haiti, west of Puerto Rico, but still with quite a bit of rain in that area. There are your spaghetti models, okay? Let's look at the Google map. Google has a few more of the outliers, more to the west, but the bulk of them are still in that GFS territory. So I hate to say this, but at this point, it is still we don't know. Here's the Euro AI. Most of them go Dominican. A few go farther west. And here's the Euro, which I just showed you. The Euro is far more west and spread out with this development, with the stall. Now, historically, what model is the best model on Earth? That would be the Euro, the European model. So I will not discount that model yet, all right? We don't have a depression yet. We don't have a storm yet. Once we get a closed low and the models can fix on an exact spot, we'll have a better idea. But here's my take right now. At the very least, it is going to be a very rainy, kind of a squally stretch of weather this Thursday to Sunday from Puerto Rico through the Dominican. So even if the Euro is right and this stays offshore and doesn't move much, it's going to spread a lot of rain into that area, even if landfall doesn't happen this weekend. All right? And if the Euro is right, it's going to continue for 6 days before becoming quite a hurricane and going through the Dominican or Haiti or possibly eastern Cuba early next week. So those are the two scenarios, the way they play out. Once we get an actual closed low where we can have an X and say, boom, this is where the system is, the models will have a much better idea figuring out where it's going to go. But right now, you've got two lines of thinking. You've got west and slow Euro getting stronger, much stronger in that warm water. The GFS, faster, more north. And at this point, it is a wait and see. All right? Okay, so we have another break coming up. We got a cool front to talk about, and that same cool front could have an impact on the storm. And that's coming up in 90 seconds as DPL continues. All right, so, yeah, they definitely, Detroit has been shooting themselves in the foot. Detroit could easily be up 21-0 right now. So we will have to see, because I got a feeling if Detroit does go up 14-0, that might open it up a little bit for the Bucks. You know, they're playing a little close to the vest right now, but if you're down 2 touchdowns at that point, you're like, whatever, let's just start zipping it, right? Okay, so, yes, and we've got the big baseball game going on. I will be honest, I am just as interested in watching that Blue Jays-Mariners game because that is going to be super interesting. It's a Game 7, and that's been a great series so far. And has that started yet, or does that start at 8:05? Usually it starts at like 8:08, I think, or something like that, for a primetime game. Yeah, that starts like 8:15. So got a little bit of time on that. All right, so let's see. Do we have any questions? I'm going to scroll down. All right, so we've got Mary Alice's son is at the game. Halloween cold front could kill hurricane season. Certainly in the Gulf, Ryan. You are correct. How you doing, Priscilla? Good to see you. Boo for the blob from Charlotte. We are back in 3, 2. How you doing, everybody? Welcome back to Dennis Phillips Live. Right now, live on the spot. The Bucks do not look good, but it's still only 7-0 Lions. The Lions are shooting themselves in the foot. They've had 2 times within the 30-yard line and turned it over on downs and turned it over on a fumble, and Jared Goff just got sacked again. So it is turning into a defensive struggle, which is not what I expected. I kind of thought it would be a shootout. We will see how it goes, but that is looks like, yep, the Lions are punting, so the Bucks hopefully might get decent field position. So Zach's asking about rain on Halloween. All right, let's talk about that, all right? We're going to go ahead and jump ahead to potential temperatures for Halloween. Now, look, when I talk about long-range models with the tropics, and you know how I am with this, I ridicule the models past 10 days. Well, it doesn't matter. Now, okay, I will tell you this. It's a little easier to determine temperature changes in 10 or 11 days than it is where a tropical, no, it's a lot easier to determine where temperature changes will be that far out as opposed to a tropical system. But we're still hinging on a strong cold front to come through next week to bring us those temperatures. And here are some of those temperatures, all right? So go ahead and look at this. Check it out here. This is a look at the temperatures on the night. That's actually November 3rd. So we're just going to go ahead and go to, this is Halloween, 8 a.m. Look at that cool down in the Panhandle. This is Halloween night, 60s. If that's the case, that would be beautiful. Look at Saturday morning, November 1st, when I start to put out my Christmas decorations. 50s and maybe even some 40s in the northern counties. And look at Sunday morning, still chilly. Look at Monday morning, still chilly. Why, you ask? Well, here is why. Look at the GFS. So, this is Thursday this week, Friday, there comes the storm way east of us. Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and look what's going on across the plains, and look at that snow, and look at that cold air in the Rockies. See it? There's Tuesday, low pressure develops in the plains, and when it does, it wraps up and swings a front through. And there's the front. See it? There is Halloween right there. Matter of fact, there's Halloween night, and if that's the case, there could even be some rain when that front comes through. That's the GFS. Bringing that front, look how far south that front makes it. All the way through Florida, all the way through Cuba. Swings anything out to sea. Let's look at the Euro, which we all know the Euro is usually more aggressive with cold. It has a cold bias. Usually it's not as cold as the Euro says. Here's Saturday, here's Sunday, Monday, same low as the GFS, identical. So a week out, and both models are showing the same setup. That is significant. And then there's the storm with the Euro in the eastern Bahamas, by the way. And if it's that close, you know, that could be some serious issues for Nassau in terms of waves and cruises. And then the front comes through, big storm. So there it is. There it is, all right? So in summation, this week, a quiet week for us. We're still probably 24 to 36 hours out from knowing what that system and what Melissa to be is going to be. But if you're asking me, and here's my answer. We got another break. Here's the ultimate answer. I'm going to be answering questions on computer again. But here's my ultimate answer. I'm not saying that you should cancel going down to the Caribbean this weekend for safety reasons necessarily, but it ain't going to be a very nice weekend weather-wise. I think there's going to be a lot of rain. All right? So if that doesn't bother you, then stick to it. But if you're hoping for better weather, tropical weather, I don't think this weekend is going to be it. And potentially, it could be significant with mudslides if that rain continues the way that I think it's going to. I think the water will be the biggest issue with this Melissa system if the GFS is right. But if the Euro is right, it turns it into a Cat 3 hurricane and brings it in next week to the Dominican or Haiti or Eastern Cuba. So there you have it. We'll be back in 90 seconds to finish up on DPL. All right. So what's going on here? Bucks have the ball. Looks like maybe a first down. Can't tell. Yeah, the game is definitely not going as I expected. I really thought it was going to be a shootout. All right, so let's see. Who we got out here? Any other questions? I'm with you, Georgina. I think it is going to be really, really nice. The new computer, Anna Maria is asking. So I went back and talked to our computer guys just today, and they said it is, yeah, they look terrible. Their offense looks really, really awful right now. They look completely befuddled. Supposed to be getting soon. So the first time in 17 years we have not gone in storm mode for hurricane in Florida, Ryan. I don't disagree. It's been... Jeff, I do not have a Crimson Tide hoodie, although I will tell you my son just had a full scholarship offer to the University of Alabama, an academic scholarship offer. He got it. I immediately said, roll Tide. I don't think he's going to go there, but he's weighing his options, looking at USF, looking at UF, looking at other places that want him to go to school there. All right, we are back in 3, 2. Identical, GFS and Euro. Welcome back to Dennis Phillips Live. Last 2 minutes, heat lightning round. Baker only has 24 yards passing, Jules, and if I had been a betting man, I would have taken over the 250 passing yards. So clearly I was very wrong on the way this game has gone so far. We'll see if they open it up at all, but I mean, they're really not testing downfield. It doesn't look to be. Again, you can watch the Bucs game right now. You're watching on the spot. You can just flip it over to channel 11 or channel 28.1, I think, is our OTA, and watch the game. So yeah, it's turning into a defensive struggle, which I would not have expected. Anyway, so there we go. One more time. This week, mostly sunny, warm, kind of muggy, not great. Highs in the upper 80s, maybe a few showers inland south. Middle of next week, right now we're looking cold front. We'll see tomorrow. We'll be here tomorrow night. We'll take a look at it. We'll have a better idea what that thing behind me is going to be doing. Probably by tomorrow night it will be Melissa. And then at that point, once we have a center, we'll have a much better idea whether the Euro is right, which means it's going to go west and get strong and stronger and stronger, and create quite an issue for the Dominican next week. Rain this weekend regardless, no matter where it is. So for all the parties and everything that people asking me about in Punta Cana this weekend, I'm not saying cancel, but I'm saying expect a significant rain event coming up this weekend, and we'll see how the cruise ships handle it as well. So folks watching on TV, thank you very much. We'll be back tomorrow night with a tropical update. As always, I appreciate you tuning in. Have a great night. Thanks for watching Dennis Phillips Live. Okay, so we are out on TV. So there you have it, my friends. Cold weather, hopefully by Halloween, and I will start to put up my Christmas decorations on Saturday and Sunday. I'm going to tell you a story. I left a lot of my Christmas decorations outside longer than I should have this last year. and they got weather beaten to bits. So I had to pony up and buy a lot of new stuff. So I got lots and lots of new decorations that I have to assemble. I went to somebody's house years ago in Countryside, and they had a Ferris wheel in their front yard decorate, not one where real people can ride it, but I mean, it was a good 12 feet high, 15 feet high. It's a real Ferris wheel, and it had it decorated for Christmas, and it was the coolest Christmas decoration I'd ever seen. And ever since then, I've been looking on eBay and looking on Facebook Marketplace and thinking maybe I can find, never been able to find one. So nothing that extensive, but definitely we're going to have a lot of new decorations out this year. And as always, the timing, we're going to have our hot chocolate. I believe it's going to be just one Saturday this year, because the following Saturday, I'm the Grand Marshal for the Hillsborough County Holiday Parade for Tampa, City of Tampa. And I can't be at two places at one time. And because we always have them on Saturdays, it may just have to be on the 13th, on that Saturday, where again, all the proceeds benefit all those local charities. We will be ramping up our production of our Rule 7 stuff for the holidays, for all the donations as well, for Feeding Tampa Bay and whatnot. So we've got a lot of stuff going on. But yeah, Mary, it was a real Ferris wheel. It was crazy. I think I saw a guy in Tarpon who had one year, and then another guy who had one in Countryside. And it was just the coolest thing. And I've never been able to figure it out since then. What's going on in the game? Yeah. Baker looks befuddled. And Detroit has the ball back. So, yeah, it's just turning into kind of a lousy first half, to be honest. I mean, I expected a shootout and a lot of good offense, and I'm seeing penalty after penalty, turnover after turnover. Is the stage too bright? I don't think so. It just looks sloppy. But 7-0 game, so it's still anybody's game. No, I never found the Ferris wheel, Charlotte. I wish I had, but I never did. So, B-dubs, how you doing? All right, so I'm going to watch baseball. I'm going to watch football. And we'll be back tomorrow night. By then, we'll probably have Melissa. And for folks who want to know about going to the islands this weekend, I'll say it again. If the Euro's right, it will probably be safe to go, but it's going to be rainy, and it's going to be pretty miserable. But, you know, that's going to be your call. If the GFS is right, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, you'll have a tropical storm, potentially even a hurricane in those islands. You don't want to be anywhere near them. And I think we'll have a much better idea by this time tomorrow night. All right? So have a great night, and we will see you on tomorrow night's edition of Dennis Phillips Live. See you guys.